Hi, I'm going to go over some of the basics for glide waxing skis for skating. Um, in terms of what you'll need, unfortunately, you're like, oh, I got all this like new equipment and I'm ready to go ski. These are some other handy things to get. I've accumulated them over the years, so I don't have to go out and buy all this stuff like in one shot. First thing you're going to need is an iron. You can use like a household clothes iron. The thing about those is that they don't keep an even temperature. So you'll dial in some setting on those, and then they'll tend to cool way down and then heat way up and cool way down, and it's hard to get a specific temperature steady. But they do work. The first time I waxed skis, I used my grandmother's iron. Sorry, Grandma. And for years, used household irons, and that's fine. If you do get it too hot, you're going to see like a ton of smoke coming off. A little bit of smoke is normal, but like a lot of smoke is like probably too hot. Um, these kind of dedicated waxing irons has like a dial where I can kind of set a specific temperature or like temperature range, and it will do a pretty good job of trying to keep it in there. And it has a little lights that'll turn green when it's at the set temperature. So that's very helpful. I'm going to plug that in now so it gets heated up. Some kind of ski form or something to attach the skis to hold them in place while you're working. This set from Toco is pretty handy. It has the clamp, so you can put it on like whatever table or bench, wherever. I could like stick it on here. And basically the way this works is there's three bits, kind of one for the tip of the ski, one for the tail of the ski, and then that's going to clamp into the binding to hold down the middle of the ski. So that's a fairly simple system that you can put anywhere. I like to have the ski form because it gives a lot of surface for pushing down against the ski, and it doesn't let the ski bend a lot while you're working on it. So ski form and some wax. I think if you're going to buy one wax, I'd just buy a regular hydrocarbon glide wax, probably a violet, which is kind of a middle range. It's going to hit a lot of the usual temperatures, and it's going to have good durability and so on. So some wax, a scraper. There's kind of different thicknesses. I tend to like one that's a little thinner because you can bend it, and if you put a little pressure on, and generally your skis aren't going to be perfectly flat, so that helps you kind of dial in when you're scraping. It also helps if it's sharp, so if this is kind of a dull edge, you could put it on a flat surface on some sandpaper, like a 200 grit or something, and give it a few passes and put a nice edge on there. It's going to help you take the wax off. That's the basics. I drew this like super technical diagram of my mental model of a ski base. So basically there's just kind of the surface of the base, and then there's all these little hairs coming up off of it. And the wax, like I think a lot of people think of the ski base as porous, and it's like soaking, the wax is like soaking down into these pores or whatever, and you could get it deeper in if you really work it or whatever. But I don't think that's how it works really. These hairs basically are just kind of holding that wax in place on top of the base. It just makes a place for that wax to nestle in there. So that's our goal, is just get that wax to fill in around those. And the base on its own is like not the fast part of the ski. It's really designed to hold that wax, and then the wax is what makes us fast. And if you don't keep wax in the ski, it will react with the air and kind of rust or oxidize. This, I don't have a super good example, but you'll see like whiteness, kind of like a powdery white haze on the ski when it's oxidized. And the longer you go without the wax, the more of that you're going to see, and the slower your ski is going to get. Like, that's really not going to glide well on the snow. So the ski is designed to hold the wax, and it's really not going to be a happy ski unless it's got some wax in it. Most of these things now are designed to hold your ski as if, like, you know, this is a part of your boot with that little metal rod that you clip your boot in. So we're going to clip the binding into onto that. And then these guys can slide, so you can like snug them in there. So we've got that down in place. Normally, when I'm waxing, I wear a respirator. I like most wax, it's probably fine. It's not smoking a lot. My whole youth, I didn't wear a respirator. Nothing bad has happened so far, but now I think, why not? You know, I get a little protection on there. One way to do this is to kind of hold the iron like this and press the wax until it starts to drip, and then run a drip down to drip, drip, drip. I don't like to do that because the drips are kind of chunky and they're harder to iron in, and it uses a lot of wax. It's a little more messy. So I like to kind of hold the iron flat and just rub the wax a little on and melt it, and then chalk it on. Once it's a little bit melted, just kind of chalk it out. So you can really control, like, you know, how much wax you're getting and where. And you know, the smoke come off. I skipped a step. So on the often now on the newer waxes, on the package, it'll show. Let me get that in focus. It has a set. You know, it says this is what you should set your iron at. So this says 150 Celsius. So it kind of takes the guesswork out of that. And that, actually, this is in the right place already. So let's say, you know, where's 150 Celsius? Dial it in. So once that's kind of chalked on, then I'll take a pass. And those little hairs that I was talking about, they can melt maybe at like 90 degrees Celsius. So we're setting this at 150 degrees Celsius. So we don't want to let this iron like camp out in any one particular spot on the ski, or we're going to potentially, I mean, you have to work at it, but you could melt those little hairs, and then they're not going to hold the wax very well at all. So be sure to keep the iron moving. And just looking to melt that initial layer evenly, so like there's a little bit of wax everywhere. Here it's not really getting everywhere. There, and then once I've got it kind of spread evenly everywhere, then I'll take a slower pass, maybe kind of like this, and I'm looking for behind the iron a couple inches of kind of liquid looking like glossy melted wax kind of trailing after the iron. And sometimes if the ski isn't like super even, I'll kind of like do like a little more pressure on one side, a little more pressure on the other side. Okay, on the next pass. And then one more, just kind of more down the middle. And that's about it for the one ski. So I'll set that one aside and let that cool while I do the other. Same thing. All right. So if we took these out and skied on them right now, they'd actually be really slow. That kind of chunky layer of iron-on wax is not going to be fast. So kind of counterintuitively, now we have to take a lot of that off. You know, we just want to leave like the thin layer that's getting held onto the base itself. A lot of scrapers will have like a rounded edge for doing out the groove. I like this kind of groove tools, a little handier, but either one. So hit the groove first. And I have, you can tell I'm not super fastidious, but I do have a garbage can under the end of the ski form that helps collect like most of the wax. I'll do scraper. And then after the first pass is gonna get the bulk, and then I'll do like a lot of like shorter, just kind of get each area of the ski, the better part of that wax. And you might see a little bit of the black, like from the ski base, come up with that wax, which is fine, that's normal. If it starts being like a lot of black, then you've done enough. Like, you don't have to keep digging. Okay, so that's pretty good. If we go skiing on that, after a couple, a few minutes, probably it'll speed up and it'll feel really good. If you have a brass brush handy, another tool to get, yay. A few passes with that kind of medium pressure will help to kind of take out a little bit extra of that surface wax. And make things nice and speedy. And that's it. Oh, and a key step is to like look at the base and appreciate like how beautiful it looks. All right.